Good evening, everyone. It's live. It's back. I nearly forgot to unmute myself, Mark, but I didn't. It's
That's all right.
all
We can
good.
still be rusty. That's all fine.
It's all good. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed the new starting soon, the new Sting, and the graphics are now slightly, improved as well.
Yeah,
I think the gold works quite well.
I'm loving the gold actually.
Yeah.
I'm really settled in very well. I think.
Yeah, it's never we've had mint and Arctic blue and a yellow, but yeah, I think this is gonna grow on people. So yeah, but anyway, enough about the colours. It's live, Mark. How are you're gonna be downbeat, aren't you?
No, well, we'll talk about that. I just want to say thanks to George and Tom for their work on the new Sting for us, because they rejuvenate and they've made it very easy for us to use apparently, so we can renew it every year. So they've done sterling work, haven't they, behind the scenes? George Gray and Tom Hume, who have been brilliant last few days working on that for us.
They have, and they've made edits. We've been talking to them all day, trying to get this set up ready for this stream tonight, because we knew the game was gonna go live, and they've got it all ready. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, there's not huge dramatic change to the Sting, but honestly, behind the scenes, it's now so much easier for us, and it's had a bit of an update with our little pictures and stills and stuff. So yeah, we're both really happy, aren't we?
We are very happy, and I've just realised I've not pressed record in clean feed, so we're going to have to do the intro all over again so we can get this podcast out again. So if you want to start from the top for the podcast, there we go.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first proper FPL BlackBox of the season. The game has launched and we are ready to go.
We are ready to go, and I'm excited. I'm not as excited as I was on Monday, I've got to say. My enthusiasm has been curbed a little bit by the new prices. I haven't looked today at the full picture yet. I logged in and picked a team in 5 minutes. And that's all. So I think we're going to go through team by team, right, and have a look.
I think we have to, yeah. I mean, we obviously knew quite a lot of the prices already, but there's a lot of new ones that have come in sort of last minute. I also didn't have much difficulty building a team, but I want to put this in the context, because I know what you're gonna say throughout this stream, and I know there was some prices that were too low, but all of this is with one premium. We've never had a season where basically going with one premium has ever worked out for us.
Yeah, but are you worried about that? Like, are you worried about going with just Haaland and not having Son?
I am, yeah, I am. Because
Trent's a premium, so that's two if you have Trent.
Yeah, but Haaland's away form was not always amazing last season, and we're gonna. I can see us, not captaining Haaland every week, captaining Trent, captaining Saka, and they just don't have the history of consistent returns that Salah has. So I'm worried. Salah and Kane, there's no teams with three. There's only a couple of teams with two. Most people are going one, but I don't know if it's going to last. I really don't.
Yeah, well, we'll look at a few teams. We'll look at a few teams on Twitter if we can tonight as well. We'll have a gander. I just realised I haven't put my lights on. I haven't got the new colour behind me, have I? I've still got green. Look, there we go. I've got a bit of light
Honestly,
on me there.
your
I'm well behind. I'm all over the place.
Colours, Mark. I mean, your WhatsApp picture is green. Your Twitter is still the blue.
Just
You've
no
got the blue
consistency whatsoever. Absolutely. I don't know about the 1EM, 2EM, 3EM kind of thing. I don't know if that's a worry. We're going to look at the teams that we put together quickly tonight, and I'll say we'll go on Twitter and see if we can find some more teams to look at as well. I see Billy's moderating. Billy's in the chat there. There he is.
Check out Billy's TikTok.
No, don't do that. No. Can't believe he did that to me while I'm at work, earning money for him, for his shoes and so on. Unbelievable. So funny. Sabotaged. So funny. Yes, my son has made a social media career out of taking the mickey out of me. So yes, check out his TikTok and you'll see what we mean. So tonight, we haven't really planned anything. We're just going to dip into the game, right? So I've got a browser window that we can open, which has got the game live. There it is.
Dodgy.
There it is. So there's the game. So we can browse around in this and have a look. I did pick a team, and here we go. So first of all, ID. Were you happy with 3665? It's on the screen at the moment. No, you wanted lower than that, did you?
Got a story about that.
Go on.
It's not an interesting story. Just I was at a meeting in work and it overran, and then I saw the game started updating, so I started frantically refreshing during this meeting, and my camera was just panned, but every now and then you could see me kind of like leaning over and tapping something. It must have looked all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
And then that ended, and I just sat there refreshing it for ages. And then I was like, I haven't been doing this for an hour. I better do some bit of work. So I literally turned around, sent an email, turned back, and the bloody game had launched. And it. So
you still beat me to it though, because I thought I was on the refresh quite a lot. I managed to get home this afternoon.
Over 10k.
Yeah, look, 11,349. So that's better than last year. I was in the 100k last year. I was very late to the party, so I'm quite happy with that. But impressed by your 3665. Well done, well done.
Well, as I say every year, nothing will ever top when I got that 69.
Yeah. No, very good indeed. Less said about that, the better. Right. So, this is a team I quickly picked, but I'm not going to dwell on that yet. We'll go back to that in a minute. Let's go through each team, shall we? Let's have a look at Arsenal's prices while we're here. So, Ramsdale 5, what we expected, right? Now, what's the bearing of that on White's 5? Oh, no.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? That's a mistake. Shit, clearly. What are they doing there?
Why White is the most expensive
defender
for Arsenal, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad they didn't make any of them 4-5.
That is a schoolboy error low, isn't it?
I don't know why White's 5-5. I thought Gabriel would be 5-5.
So you got Zinchenko at 5, Gabriel at 5. I mean, White, who arguably, should start, but Tomiyasu could be a threat to him, but on what grounds is he 5-5? Just because he got 10 more points than Gabriel last season. So it didn't take long to find the first mistake, did it? Oh my word! Oh, that's just killed Ben White for the season. No one's going to go anywhere near him, are they? No, because Zinchenko's better going forward. Gabriel's got the set piece threat. Why would you pay not only?
Well, and Timber's going to sign as well, isn't he? So he's probably going to come in at 5 as well. So, I don't understand that.
That can only be an oversight, surely. I don't, unless they meant to make Gabriel 5-5 and got the wrong one. I don't know. Something's gone wrong there.
I do wonder if there's some kind of algorithm they're using to do these. Because, White, I can't see any other reason why White would be 0.5 more than the others.
Well,
but he got 10 points more. That's what I mean. Maybe there's some kind of...
Maybe. You know what my theory is here? My theory is they did have everyone a lot more expensive and then they forgot to change White back. That's what I think. I think, basically, White, everyone was 5-5 in this team, and then they changed everyone back, but forgot to get to White, and then it's gone live. That's the only thing I can think of. Zinchenko and Gabriel would be 5-5 over White, wouldn't they?
I thought it was going to be Zinchenko and Gabriel at 5-5, and then Saliba and White at 5. But
wow. The English.
Who cares? It's Ben White. We're not going to go there anyway.
No, okay, but it's still a suggestion that they've made a mistake with the first team we've looked at. So how many more are we going to find? Okay, fine, yeah. Whatever.
Well, we're about to get onto another one.
We'll see. Why? What do you think? Well, with Saka,
about to come to the Arsenal mid.
Yeah, Saka came out Tuesday, didn't he? And they missed a trick there, haven't they?
There's two prices that I've got a real problem with. I think on the whole I'm all right with a lot of things, but there's two prices that I think are just wrong, and that's one of them Saka, and the other one is Botman, the Newcastle defender.
Yeah, but that's a ridiculous one.
Other than that, I'm not too much.
Mitrovic 7-5 though. That's silly.
But I think these are kind of 0.5, errors, not bigger errors. I think Saka's a 1. Saka should be 9-5. Yeah. Botman probably should be 5-5 as well, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Mitrovic 0.5. I don't know. I'm not too bothered about any of them except for those two. I think everyone's going to have Botman. Everyone's going to have Saka.
I know, but I just think that doesn't give me much confidence that they've made an error somehow there. That's a manual error or something's gone wrong there. I mean, that's silly. Saka should have been 9, we've said before. The wasted opportunity here, Zinchenko should have been higher. He's going to be in every team, Zinchenko, or a lot of teams, Zinchenko. He's template, isn't he, I think, now, because of that. Do you not think? No one's going to go Ramsdale. They're certainly not going to go White, and I don't think Gabriel will get too much.
No, I think so. I don't know too much about Timber. Does he have any impact?
He gets forward, yeah. But
Zinchenko, what position is he?
He's right side, I think. But
is he right side?
So White might not even start in a back foot. But I think that Zinchenko he's obviously going to play that role in the midfield, isn't he? So he starts a lot of their moves, and he's involved further up the pitch than at fullback. He doesn't play a traditional overlapping fullback role. So, Zinchenko's going to be very popular. Havertz not going to get a look in at 7.5, I don't think, given that you're going to pay the extra $1 million for Saka easily, aren't you? I mean,
I think the 7-5-8 bracket is quite interesting though. I wonder if Havertz could have an impact for us at the start of the season. And if you are going for Saka, maybe, and you want that Arsenal double up, you don't want to pay for Odegaard. Havertz in that Xhaka role, you're betting on a lot of things going to go in your way. But if Xhaka can have a good season as he had, I mean, no one would have thought Xhaka would have got 150 odd points. There's no reason why Havertz can't do the same. And good early fixtures, so he's not an awful punt.
Martinelli at 8, he should have been 7.5. Really, I think. I don't see anyone going, I'm going to go Martinelli and sacrifice security of starts instead of finding 0.5 for Saka and Odegaard. It's just not going to happen.
I think Saka 9.5, Odegaard 8.5, Martinelli 7.5,
should have
been.
And
then Havertz maybe around the 7.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All right. Okay, that's Arsenal. Let's have a look at Villa.
Hang on. One you haven't mentioned. Gabriel Jesus.
Well, okay. Do we think he's going to get any?
He's in my draft.
Is he?
Do you remember the clamour for him last season? I mean, his ownership is absolutely ridiculous.
70% at some point.
He's been priced the same with a good opening fixture. So why is there suddenly no more? Why is there no desperation for him at the moment?
Well, because we saw him drop off in terms of goal rate quite quickly. He started like a train, and then
did have that injury though, didn't he?
He did, but I think we saw my doubts about him came to fruition in that he did suddenly start drifting to other areas other than the penalty area, and wasn't getting on the end of stuff. And then when he did get on the end of stuff, we saw him miss chances like he did for City. So I don't think Jesus would be very popular, especially with the Arsenal. I mean, he might be with Forest being the first game maybe, but some people might get him in with a view to moving down from him, I guess, towards Watkins. But no, I don't.
I mean, he'd have got around 160, 170 points if he'd carried on his kind of average rate of last season. I think that's pretty good value for 8.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about Watkins then while we're on the Villa. You prefer Jesus to Watkins, do you?
I like Watkins. I like Gakpo. I like Jesus. I think they're all good options around that 7.5, 8 mark. I think Villa have all the signs of a team that are going to really try and break into that and should be breaking into that top 6 this year. And he is the main man, isn't he? I mean, he's the one in that team. I mean, I like Moreno in defence. I think Mings
5 million.
Probably, Mings is a
too
difficult
cheap.
one. You don't want to make him the same price as Moreno though, because then you're never going to go for him.
I guess not. No, but I mean 4-5. He's like a botman, isn't he? If Villa are sound defensively like they were under Emery at the end, then Mings is going to be very popular. Could even be in template.
Villa have signed Tielemans. I've completely missed that.
Yeah, 6 million. Might take pens, I guess, off Watkins, which is something to consider. I don't think so, but he might do. Watkins isn't the best pen taker by any means. Jacob Ramsey, I'm disappointed he's 6 million. Had my eye on him, but you can get Gibbs White for 6 million. I'm sure we get to others as well that probably are better in that price. I think he's going to have a breakout season, though. I think
6 is about right for him. 135 points.
Yeah, I just think. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you're not going to go Bondia over Ramsey. So he's going to be the pick there of the midfield, I think, at the moment, I would say. No one else.
Saying Mings' time in the team is done.
Possibly.
With Pau Torres coming in and Konsa.
Yeah, and they've got Diego, of course, as well, who was injured for a lot of the season. So, okay. Go to Bournemouth. I'm not sure we're going to find too much there. New manager, of course, quite a bit more expected of Bournemouth in attacking terms in the new regime. Billing might tempt a bit of interest. I don't see the defence being...
No, thank you.
No, not going to go to... Don't think we're going to go. Neto get the save points maybe. Might get some interest, but I think there are other 4 or 5 keepers ahead of him. Midfield, you've got Tavernier, Billing, maybe, but 5-5.
No, thank you.
No, don't think
Slanky, so. 6-5 as well. Bit much for him.
The midfield spots are going to be so competitive. There are so many options. I don't think you're going to fill one of them with a 5-5 mid, let alone one who plays for Bournemouth, I don't think. So I think they're going to be glad. Solanke at 6-5 Where do you see him?
I don't see him featuring. I'm staying well away from Bournemouth. They did well last season.
Yeah.
But are they going to carry on? I mean, they've signed a very attacking high press manager, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it's going to be enough. I think they're going to go down this year. So I'll be avoiding.
I've got the 6-5 bracket open there. Solanke, the top scoring player in that bracket. Yeah, I guess I would have him over Awoniyi. I think Awoniyi's probably got more goals than him. He's more of a direct goal threat, but I don't know if Awoniyi's going to start every game. Elsewhere in this bracket, Martial not going to get a look in. It's Ferguson, I guess, who's going to get a bit of traffic when we get to Brighton. So I don't know. I think Solanke's still a little bit of a standout in that bracket. If Bournemouth are what we expect, and more a stronger attack.
Yeah, I mean he's all right. I mean you've got Calvert-Lewin at 6. You've got the promoted strikers there.
Yeah,
Ferguson as well, 6.
Yep. What do you make of Brentford? Raya, 5 million. Surprise.
Yeah. Nah, he was one of the top goalkeepers, wasn't he? So not a huge surprise.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean Ben Mee at 5. That's harsh. They probably could have made them all 4-5 or push up a little bit. I think you're just going to go Rico Henry, aren't you, at 4-5?
Yeah.
If you're going to go for a Brentford defender,
you're banking on him repeating the 5 goals he got, which just don't see it really.
No.
So I think Henry's the target there. We'll see if Nathan Collins gets in the side, which you expect him to, then maybe play. But if they play 3 at the back, which we expect, then Henry's even more attractive, I would say. And Bramo, of course, 6-5 is going to get, I think, his template. Do you not think?
He's going to be very popular. He's 25% owned at this early stage of the ownership.
Oh, I don't even want to look at that.
Yeah, at one point everyone was 0%, and a few people were saying, "Oh, maybe they're hiding it this year." But no, of course they're.
You know what?
Of course they're not.
Are you going to look at that? Because we'll talk about this at the end, but I don't know if I want to take that into consideration yet.
Yeah, I think Mbomo is going to be the community 6-5 of choice, along with Matoma, playing out of position. I think he got close to 20 goal involvements last season as well. But if you're not really in the know, you're probably not gonna go for him. So yeah, he's going to be a Twitter boy, but I probably won't be going there. I just think they're going to be so much weaker without Tony.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate, how good he is and the impact he has on that team, and I want to see them at least, without him.
I've seen a few mention Shardo as an option, but where's the goals coming from here? They've got to sign a striker. They're after Brennan Johnson, of course, right?
Are they? Yeah.
But I don't think they'll play him down the middle if they got him.
That'd be nice. He's in as a mid, isn't he?
He is in as a mid. I don't know why he would go to Brentford. I mean, it seems sideways to me, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll talk about Forest in a bit. Burnley. No, we're going to miss Brighton. We can't miss Brighton now, can we? Can't do that.
Oh, God, come on.
You got your new keeper, Verboegen, 4-5. Yep. He's going to be popular, I would have thought, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who's going to start the season out of him and Steele. Be harsh on Steele for him to be dropped out, but I think Verbruggen is
will start,
going to end up being our first choice. Sherpen's going out on loan. Sanchez will be sold, I think. So it's between those two. I think it's too risky, though, to go with one of them. And you don't want to double up because you need your Brighton spots.
And defender of choice, although Stupiñán's at 5, I think that's still going to be attractive. I don't think Dunk's going to get too much attention because of that. Would you agree?
Look at our defender, though. Look at our defence on the screen. I mean, you compare this to some of the other teams who've got like 10, 15 on this list. I mean, with Colwell missing, we only have Dunk. We have Duncan Webster. We have Van Heck, who did look decent in the couple of games that he had. But
that's it, though.
Is he ready to come in? Lamptey's injured. We need Colwell, but I hope we don't spend the whole summer trying to get him and then end up missing out on him. And Estepinian is going to be really popular, but I'm a bit concerned about our defence going into this season. So he's in my team at the moment, but I think when I do look at his ownership, and it's probably going to be like 35, 40%, I might go elsewhere.
Yeah. Are you going to start with a Brighton defender?
I don't know. Like I said, at the moment, the fixtures are good, so Estepinian is in there. But if we don't sign another decent centre-back, then I'd probably advise to avoid.
Gross 6-5, March 6-5, Matoma 6-5. They can't separate them. I would have thought Matoma's going to be overwhelmingly the favoured option though there, isn't he?
Yeah, and rightly so. I think Gross we're just not sure what that role is going to be with McAllister not there and how that midfield's going to do. You know, the interchange of Gross and McAllister and Caicedo was so important. I mean, Caicedo could even leave, you know, and then the whole midfield is going to be completely in flux. So I wouldn't go for him personally. He has got penalties. He will take a lot of the set plays. But March is just going to get rotated so much with
especially with Europe there. As well.
And Europe and, you know, Lallana's there and just so many players. So
has João Pedro come in as a forward? He has, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and sitting in CISO, you don't think he's going to be secure enough in starts as well, right? So
no, I think that's why Matoma is the best.
And up front, Ferguson, I guess, over João Pedro, because Ferguson more assured start, will play up front, whereas João Pedro will probably take a wide role in a lot of games.
Yep.
How many starts do you think Ferguson will get? Do you think he'll be in there from the very start? Do you think?
Yeah.
Right, he'll play the Luton game. Okay.
I think so. I think he just leads that line in the way that Zerbi wants to play, and he does it better than any other strikers that we have. And I honestly, I think this is the breakout season for him. You know, he's so young anyway. He's already kind of done it, but I think he could get 15 goals for us this season. You
don't see you signing the striker then?
No.
Okay.
No, not with Pedro, with Ferguson, with Undav coming in as well. Welbeck's knocking around. We're actually quite stacked in for the forward spots now.
Okay. Burnley, I don't think we need to pay too much attention to them just yet. They're signing a keeper, it seems. Trafford, who's a very, very, very good young keeper. So Muric may not be the number one choice. I doubt he will, but they're not going to spend 15 million on number two, I don't think. But so their goalkeeper could be an option over long seasons past. Pope was very, very popular, but this is a different Burnley. They're not going to play that same way. So I don't think the keeper's necessarily going to attract much attention. Same at the back, really. We don't know what we're going to get from Company's side in terms of defence, do we? Bayer's in a few teams, though, isn't he?
Yep.
4 million. Seems to be the 4 million choice.
Yeah, we think he's going to start. So he looks a good option at 4 million. Unless you're going for three kind of decent defenders and then going for like a Mings or a Botman as a 4.5. But I think most of us are going to have one 4 million defender, and I think it's going to be Bayer for majority of people.
In midfield, disappointing to see Brownhill at 5, so I don't think there's a 4-5 option we're going to jump to here. Cullen's also likely, no, he's a 5. I don't know why one of them two wasn't 4-5, but that seems a bit odd.
Oh, Brownhill and Cork are, our old 4.5 million options, both getting pushed up.
I mean, I think that's a shame. So there's Weghorst, there he is, 5.5. You did mention him in the last feed. Don't think he's going to turn our heads. They've got to get a striker, haven't they? Looking at that. I mean, Obafemi's played Premier League before, so is Rodriguez, of course. Can't see them putting up trees, and Weghorst, he is a tree. Did
you know I have a Obafemi on my wall?
Do you?
I do, yeah. Don't know if you can see, but I have the nerdiest picture ever, which is my Football Manager season that I sunk about 800 hours into.
Okay.
And I played as Chelmsford, and Michael Obafemi was the all-time record goal scorer for Chelmsford by the end of my career. So
okay.
He's on my wall. I've got a little picture just commemorating.
Don't think he'll be on your wall for FPL reasons at the end of the season, but
I think you're probably right on that.
Chelsea, interesting that Chilwell and James came in at 5.5 straight away.
That was good pricing.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough because of the they've had injuries. Both of them have had injuries last season, of course. I expected that. Gives us a bit of a choice there if we're tempted. Well, I mean, we know we're going to have Reece James at some point in our teams, right? It always happens. Got to happen.
I think it's nice because you look at Estepinian at 5 and then you think, oh, well, for 0.5 more, I could get one of these Chelsea, sort of wing backs. So I think it is, even players like Shaw and, Stones, I'm still, there is options around that 5.5 bracket. If they'd put them at 6.5, then it would have been issues. But 5.5 is tempting. I mean, if you're backing Chelsea to massively improve under Poch, their fixtures are so good from game week 2, you could even go with both. Go for a Chilwell and James double up and really kind of
I mean,
target
it might come in at some point. I saw some of a respond saying that Matty Cash was 4.5. I missed that. Yeah, that could be good value actually. Matty Cash as a 4.5 option for Villa. I mean those two are going to dominate our thinking when it comes to the Chelsea defence. Mount's still showing. He should be moved over, obviously. Sterling, what do you think? 7 million.
Oh God, that is tempting, isn't it? And I'm seeing him quite a lot of teams already. I guess the question is, does he play? I mean, they've got Mudryk, haven't they? Who plays that? They've got Nkunku as well. Madueke. They've got options on the flank. So Sterling definitely get into the side.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Pochettino likes him. I mean, there's talent there. There's proven FPL talent there. I've always tempted by Sterling back in the Man City days.
He's on my wall. Another player on my wall.
Yeah,
legend.
So I mean, it's interesting to see him in template teams at the moment. He is popping in. There's no doubt. I don't think there's too much else there. But then we go to Nkunku, who's the 7-5 forward, who's been getting a lot of attention. Jackson might as well, but I think Nkunku's the favoured option. And at the moment, there's a lot of movement behind him. I don't know what his ownership is right now. 18.6. There we go. So it's pretty high already. But unproven. We said in the last show, I don't know if I'd go there from the off, but the fixtures are very strong, right?
I mean, the big issue is that Chelsea have no midfield at the moment. They've got Enzo. Was it going to be Enzo and Gallagher?
Yeah.
I mean, Gallagher isn't good enough to be playing for Chelsea, in my opinion. So they need to sign another centre mid. They're still in a huge transitional period of flux. They couldn't score a goal last season. New manager. The fixtures are good, but if you're going into this season starting with 2 Chelsea players, then it is a massive risk, I think.
Pochettino said they're the greatest English side of the last 15 years. Long way to go to prove
nonsense,
that,
isn't
I think. It is very optimistic. But, it's positive, isn't it? He's got to speak that like that going into the season. Palace.
I want to see Mudryk, though. I want to see Mudryk deliver. Because they're paying £70 million for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming at 6'5", hasn't he?
Yeah.
Which, is when he dropped in the game last year, I think he dropped in a lot. 7'5" last year? 7. And when he arrived at that price, people were like, "Oh, that could be good." Now he's 6'5".
I know.
If he, the potential's there, but he did look very raw, didn't he? Last season, he didn't really get opportunity to bring his pace to bear. He looked like he was struggling to impose himself in matches and just drifted in and out of games. Was subbed a lot. Don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We expect more from him. So there's talent in that Chelsea team, and there could be bargains there with Mudryk and Sterling in particular.
They're the most kind of interesting team, I think, this season. Because, no Europe. Pochettino, obviously a great manager, gets the most out of all the players he's worked with. He's so good at putting his arm around players that have been cast aside a little bit and getting the most out of them. So interested to see what they can do. I can't imagine they're going to have a season as bad as last year, but it's going to be a big turnaround. Palace,
Royce staying, of course.
Yeah.
So Johnston might get some traffic in goal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fixture's like. We can bring up the ticker, have a look. Palace, they're at the top end of the ticker. This is sorted by difficulty. This is from Fancy Football Scout, of course. Sheffield United away, first game, Arsenal, Brentford. It's not a bad start, but I don't think you'd be backing clean sheets straight from the off. I think we want to see a bit more of what this season's Palace are about. But they were fairly sound under Hodgson, but much more attacking than they were under Vieira, and it's probably the attacking players that we're going to look at, if at all. Eze at 6'5", the headline act, I would say. Anyone else there? Would you go? Elise's injured at the moment. Might be tempted by him, but I think Eze's price means he's going to be the sole target, I think. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, good pricing here. And this is kind of what I thought they should have done with Arsenal. You got the penalty taker and the best player at 6'5", the most expensive. A little bit less for Elise, who's still got a couple of set pieces under the penalties. And then if you want to, go for the cheapest one, someone like Ayew, then you do that. But yeah, I think Eze at 6'5" is quite a bit. I mean, I still don't trust Palace offensively, and but 159 points was a great return for him. So you'd expect him to kick on this season. So it does feel a little bit pricey, but they could have gone to 7. So
they could have done. When we looked at it pre-season, I think we looked at him possibly nudging 7. But that's when we thought they were going to be. Well, we'll talk about it at the end. Okay, Pickford very popular in goal at 4-5. In my current draft, of course, as well, as you'll see there, I think he's going to be the weapon of choice at the back. You would go Tarkowski as the next best, right? Because of the set pieces we saw under Dyche. So 4-5 is a good price for him. I don't think anyone else is going to get a look in there. I think we can move on from that. Midfield, a McNeil and a Iwobi at the 5-5 mark, Gray at the 5-5 mark. Nothing there, is there? I don't think. I mean, McNeil's the most likely to tempt us, but I just don't see it. Do you? Nothing.
Absolutely not. No.
Nothing there. And then Afred Mope, and I guess it's Calvert-Lewin, right? How many games is he going to get? 6 million. Can he deliver any value for that? Maybe.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he could be a good option. You want to again? That's a good price for him because he was 8 million last season, and we were all like, "That is so incredibly high."
Yeah.
But 6 million makes him an option. So interesting to see how Everton start and if they can keep him fit.
Fulham, Leno, very popular like Pickford. Good rotation, which we'll look at in a bit.
Fixtures aren't the best to start the season, but it doesn't really matter. I think I always just go for what I think is the best 4.5 goalkeeper. Try and go for an established player if you can. He got nearly 150 points last season for 4-5. I'd be well happy with that again.
Yeah. No standouts in defence. Tete probably the best, I would say. 4-5. My favourite option there. And midfield. Well, Andreas Pereira
as if Anthony Knockhart's still there.
Yeah, look, here he is at 4-5. Still knocking about Knockhart.
Legend.
And then disappointing to see Mitrovic coming at 7.5 live on the stream on Monday, or just before Monday's stream. Don't see him getting much attention at that myself. Depending if he keeps penalties. I mean, that's still unknown. He may well do. But I think there's better options. Depends how Fulham start. A lot of people saying they expect Fulham to not reach the heights of last season. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, it's tricky. I mean, they massively overperformed. But they overperformed without Mitrovic going bananas, which was quite impressive. And I mean, if they can get him back to scoring goals, then there's no reason why they couldn't have another sort of mid-table finish. Again, I think they bought smartly, didn't they? I mean, Pereira was a really good signing for them. He went really well with Mitrovic. The defence looked solid. Leno came in and did a good job. I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle this year.
Did we miss Onana at 5? Did I see Onana is... No, he's not 4.5. He's 5 million. Someone was in chat saying he was 4.5, but that would have been a bargain at 4.5. But he's
Dele Alli's there. I wonder if he can...
Yeah.
At 5 million, got another mighty fall.
5 million. No one's getting 5 million for him, including Everton, I would say.
Nope. Very good.
Liverpool, Alisson at 5.5. That's almost a default, isn't it? I mean, how do you work that out? I mean, he's the best keeper in the Premier League, but he's by no means paying for the best defence.
No, but that's what they do. They make Alisson and Edison 5.5 every season.
Yeah.
Not worth it. He's not worth it. I mean, you look at Leno. Leno got nearly 150. Alisson got 162. He's a million less. It's a no-brainer.
Van Dijk's not going to get a look in at 6 million either, I don't think.
He could have been 5.5.
5.5 would have made it interesting. I go back to the fact that I think Robertson is overpriced. Why would you go Robertson at 6.5 when you can get Zinchenko at 5, Chilwell at 5.5? It's just not. He's not getting it, is he? No, your only reason you're going Robertson is if you're worried that you haven't got Trent and you're trying to get.
Yeah. And
I think you're clutching at straws there if Trent's in that role in midfield.
I completely agree. Especially if Robertson's playing at left centre back. If he moves over to the left back again, maybe he's an option, but it seems to be working.
I think they got those two a little bit wrong, but no one's going to care because everyone's going to be on Trent anyway.
Robertson 6, Van Dijk 5.5 is what I would have done.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of the two of the very few prices they overpriced, I would say. Salah 12.5, we talked about a bit. I think he's going to be, what's his ownership at the moment? This would be interesting. 24.6. That is going to be the differential. That's going to be the thing that breaks the template up, is if you go Salah, it's going to change 2 or 3 of your other players versus the template. So it would be really interesting to see where Salah's ownership is for game week 1. 24, 25 is probably what I would say it will stay at, I think. Whereas in previous seasons, he'd be about 40.
See, I find that really interesting, though, like that whole dynamic, because I'm looking at him in pre-season. He looks ripped to shreds. They've got this new midfield. You know, they're making big waves in the transfer market. I think they're going to really try and hit this season hard. And, you know, he's off the back of a poor season where he still managed to get 239 points. So... I think he's going to be a factor for us, and if he's a factor for us, suddenly the prices won't seem so cheap, because it is difficult to build a really good. The sacrifices you have to make to get in Salah, Trent, and Haaland is quite a lot.
Well, we'll have a look. We'll try and make a team in a minute. Jota 8 million if he starts up front could be really good, but again, it's the regular starts. Is we going to see that? Surely there's going to be rotation with Gakpo and Darwin. Luis Diaz, if he gets that left side role, which we expect him to, 7.5 could be tempting.
Yeah,
and then the new signing, who you can pronounce perfectly because you've been practicing, is...
Sazbasli.
I don't know. I don't know. Sabozlai. He's been getting some attention. Yeah, 11% strong.
I don't know huge much about him. If I'm being completely honest, I probably should, and I'll do my research. But yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just go for Diaz at 7.5, or who I'm tipping to have an absolutely massive season this year, which is Gakpo.
Yeah, I like Gakpo. He's in my team at the moment, as you see here. I think 7.5, if he cements that starting role in the middle, which I expect him to, then he could be worth that for sure, and more. I'd certainly prefer him over Nunes there at 7.5. Darwin Nunes might figure in our thinking at some point, but it's not going to be at the start of the season, I don't think, unless pre-season points to staggering form, but I don't know. Don't see it. So Liverpool really, Szoboszlai and Salah, they'll be the intriguing options, and they're picking up some traffic. We'll look at ownership at the end and see where things are. Let's go back down to Luton Town, who I think of the 3 promoted teams, as we said on Monday, will probably be the one that gets early attention. 4 million defenders there, a collection of them, of which Bell is at the moment the most tempting. Doherty is the one, I think, if you're going to go for a Luton defender to get. But at 4.5, you can get Mings and you can get Botman. So why would you get a Luton defender? That's the thing.
Well, Mings might not play, but Botman is the the obvious one, isn't it? This is what I mean. I think they kind of have to put all the kind of mid-table to top 6 defenders up 0.5 just so they can make the promoted defenders, because they can't make the promoted defenders 4.
No.
So they have to make them 4, 5, but then you can't have established Premier League defenders being that as well. So it is a tricky one. I think the 0.5 increments are really difficult when it comes to the defenders. So again, that's why I'm trying to give them a little bit of slack with some of the decisions they've made, because Mings isn't really 5 when Moreno's there at 5, but he's not.
No, but Moreno could be in 5.5, couldn't he? Why not?
Yeah, but you're not going to pay 5.5 for him, are you?
Well, if Villa emerge as a strong defence, you would start paying attention.
I suppose.
I mean, but then you put everybody up, don't you? Stupinan should be 5.5. Luke Shaw should be 6 million. The problem is they've squeezed it down, and then they got nowhere to go with the promoted defenders, other than 4. Or they overprice them relative to the other players at 4.5, which they have done.
Neco Williams is 4.5.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to that in a minute. I mean, that's. I don't know. I mean, it's poor. I mean, I'll have a moan later. Midfield, I haven't really paid attention.
What, you mean this isn't the moaning?
No, this isn't the moaning. Oh, there's a moaning section to come. I've reserved another 45 minutes. Luton Town midfielders, I don't think we're going to be too active in this area, or up front. Maybe Morris at 5.5, we talked about Monday. Could tempt people, couldn't he? Because he's a regular starter on pens.
I mean, they're going to get murdered, aren't they, Luton? I mean, I'm sorry, Ash Juice, and I'm sorry, everyone else. I know they did well in the Championship, but I mean, think of teams like Blackpool when they came. I mean, Blackpool gave it a good go, didn't they, under Holloway, but ultimately still got dished out some pretty big beatings and then ended up going down. I mean, Bournemouth came up without spending a huge amount, but they have been in and out of the Premier League before. I don't know. I just think Luton. I'd love them to stay up, but
it's an intimidating place to go for sure. And they have their style, which is very physical. So they'll rough teams up. Set pieces will be a problem for people. I think they'll start okay. They'll get some points that you perhaps didn't expect them to, and then they'll get found out.
That's what tends to happen, isn't it? The teams like that, plucky teams with a difficult stadium to go to, they'll get a couple of surprise results and try and live with that. It was Hull, wasn't it, when they had was it like Giovanni and players? They had a really good first half of the season, then just
Norwich as well when they beat City.
lots of teams do it. Yeah.
The City defence, we're not going to go anywhere near Ederson. 5.5. I'm just going to move on from him. I don't even want to talk about him or that assist that I should have got and beaten you in the Premier League.
Just some context to the listeners and viewers. For the Sting, we uploaded some videos of us kind of talking and gesturing and stuff like that. And Mark did 6 minutes on the Ederson non-assist.
Well, basically,
I listened to the whole thing.
The brief was, because we had to get some clips where we're emotional and gesticulating and it needs to be genuine. So I had to think of something that would make me angry And the best thing I can think about was FPL wise, that is, lots in my life makes me angry. Was Ederson basically the Ederson assist? I'm sorry, it's still great basically because I watched it back. To do the clip, I watched it back again, which made me more angry.
No, why'd you do that to yourself?
Yeah. So when you see me in the Sting going, that's because I'm watching.
It's because of Ederson. Yeah. Enjoyed that.
Oh dear, yeah, I might bring that out one day, but De Bruyne 10-5. Come on, talk to me about De Bruyne 10-5. Dead,
yeah,
just dead,
yeah.
dead,
Yeah.
gone. No chance.
Could have made him 9-5.
Yeah,
probably, but yeah, I mean, last season we saw him in and out of the team, didn't we? So I'm imagining that's going to probably happen again. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's catastrophic, Bryce, because he could emerge, and I mean, he got close to 200 points being in and out of the team, so. Maybe if they had made him 9, it would have been too low.
9-5. 9-5 would
I would
have
have
made
made
it a little bit more interesting.
Maybe 10.
As it is, I don't think we're going near him. We missed a defence there. Stones at 5-5, I guess, is probably what we expected with the midfield role.
These are kind prices for the.
Yeah, Diaz the most. I mean, Ake could be great value.
Ake
at 5
is Ake at 5. I've just noticed that. Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, I might change my defence. Stupinan out for Ake. No brainer, I think. So I think you've got to imagine that Ake gets most games, given how strong he was. And I'd like Stones. Would I go 5-5 for a City defender? I don't know. But I think kindly priced, yeah. Again,
5 for Ake is a bargain.
Again, compressed down too much. All of these should be 0.5 more, in my opinion. But there you go.
say that, but like, hang on, let me just click on Nor FL. Oh, hang on, my thing's gone mad. Hang on.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. None got over 100 points. I mean, that was the story of their season, wasn't it? I mean, there was so much rotation in defence. Cancelo went out. They were conceding quite sloppy goals.
Well, that was it, yeah.
So, for none of these, for no Man City defender to get 100 points, that's crazy. But I mean, Ake's the one for me.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll get the left back role at the moment. Midfield, Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, all at 7-5. That's a cop-out,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, all of the same price. Come on.
Yeah, but I think they're all about the same in terms of they haven't. None of them have got anything
so.
special over the other.
Yeah.
It's not like the Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka one, where
so.
Martinelli's a rotation risk. Saka's got the penalties, and Odegaard.
You like the 7-5 price point, do you?
I love the 7-5 price point. I think it's really. I think that's really fun. Like those three, because you could pick any of them really, and. Hope. I think Foden though at 7-5, that has the potential to be.
You love him, don't you?
I just love him so much. I just want what's best for him, Mark. I just want him to be happy and start every game, and he'd get over 200 points if he started every game.
But he's not going to, because he'll do something off the field to wind Pep up, and he'll be out for 5 or 6 games.
It's
inexplicably
not a good pairing.
dropped.
It's not a good pairing with Grealish.
No,
it?
It's not. No, on a Saturday night. Up front, they got this fella who I think
Alvarez.
Yeah, that's right. Let's have a look at predict Haaland's ownership.
I know,
already.
I've seen it.
Oh.
You're gonna hate it.
I'll go 62.
More.
I nearly swore then. 74. 74 already.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you now, though, I don't think I'm going to captain him game week 1.
You're going to go Saka, are you, against Forest?
I think so. Yeah.
But 74 already.
Or maybe Rashford against Wolves, because Wolves they're losing Kilman. It looks like as well. I think they could struggle big time.
Yeah,
this
Wolves
year.
could struggle. Yeah. All right, we'll come back to ownership at the end. We'll have a look at those. That's depressing, isn't it? Man United, Henderson's going to Forest, so he'll be a good option when he goes there. They haven't got a keeper then in that case, but they will be signing one, I'm sure.
Oh, he is. De Gea's contract officially over
it must
then?
be gone. Yeah, so he's not contracted. So
they'll probably get a Nana, won't they?
Yeah, that's the way it's looking.
Yeah.
But Luke Shaw's going to be the choice there. See, Dalot at 5 million. Then explain that to me. Surely he's not a certain starter. Botman at 4-5, certain starter in a Champions League defence, arguably better than Newcastle, and Dalot comes in at 5. Explain that. Don't get it.
I can't.
No.
I guess if Wan-Bissaka leaves and you've got a starting defender for 4-5, it might be a bit low.
Make them both 4-5, aren't they? But then they shouldn't even be 4-5. They should all be up a bit more. Higher, as Boosie would say. But yeah,
sure should be 6.
Yeah, should be. But yeah, it's. I don't think there's a conversation.
That defence
about
though, bloody hell! I mean, it's not the most inspiring, is it? I mean, Brandon Williams is still there. Tellez, Maguire,
lot of
Malacia.
A lot of depth. Not very good, but it's a lot of depth. I mean,
shallow waters.
I think Martinez, Varane, they've got a good starting back four.
They have got. That's what I mean. They've got a good starting back four, but the rest of them are a bit. I mean, Tellers and Bailey's still there. I mean, bloody hell, how long's he been knocking
Surprising,
around?
isn't it, when you look through the squad list, who's not left the club yet? Rashford v Bruno. Where do you stand on that at the moment? 9 million Rashford, 8.5 Bruno.
Good pricing, I think, on those two. I was happy with that. I think Rashford is the better pick, especially with the striker situation as it is. Be interesting to see who they get.
That's
but
where
I think
Rashford
at 9 is a good price. I mean, we don't know what Fernandez's role is going to be with Mount there as well. I imagine he's going to be playing quite deep lying. But 176 points, again, if he gets that for 8.5, you'd probably be relatively happy with that.
The thing is, Mount doesn't affect Rashford, in my opinion, but Mount could affect Bruno, so therefore you are more inclined to go Rashford. I think he
if it was 1 million, there's a case, but not
he could have been 9.5, I think. And arguably should have been. But it's a regular theme. We're not going to...
Can I just give a quick shout out, because we've just hit over 1,000 people watching the stream live.
Good evening.
Amazing.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening, everyone.
All
Do
these
give us a
people
like.
Want to turn up, watch me moan for an hour and a half. Don't worry, there's moaning to come if you think you've missed it. No, you haven't.
Do give us a like. Do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We've got loads of content coming pre-season, and obviously when the season starts as well. And there is a league code as well. So if you are watching
there it is. 95 GXEU. Get in the league.
95 GXEU. So head over to FPL, type that code in, and join the league.
Brilliant. Magic69 said Rashford is not a good option if he plays as striker. Interesting. Yeah, arguably. I think we're expecting them to get more cover in that area. Are we not?
I think Rashford's a good option if he plays as a striker.
I think he still is, yeah. I mean, he's an elite player, I would say, from what we saw last season. No reason to suspect he won't produce. I think he is better coming in from the wide, but I still wouldn't not back him. I still would be nervous about not having him, I think. Newcastle, criminal prices here. Absolutely criminal, I would say.
Pope's a shame.
I just don't know what
Trippier's too high, Botman's too low.
We said Pope would be 5.5, didn't we? And it's like...
I knew he would be.
Good.
I was hoping he wouldn't.
That's okay. But then it makes absolutely zero sense when Botman's 4.5. I think Botman is another one where they've forgotten to put him up. It's a Ben White situation where they've forgotten to address his price. There's no way they meant to make Botman 4.5, I don't think. The same as Matt Target's 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty crap though, wasn't he, towards the end of the season?
But he's a regular starter, isn't he?
But I mean, he got 129 points. It's not exactly massive. They should have made him 5. Don't get me wrong. They should definitely have made
5.
They should definitely have made him 5.
The only reason they left him there is because they wanted to make Shah more, and they didn't want to push Shah up to 5.5.
Yeah.
And the reason why they didn't want to put Shah up to 5.5 is because they would then have to move up defenders like Shaw up to 6, and they didn't want to do that because then they're pushing everybody up. They've compressed it too much, like I said.
No, he like I said, he's one of the two biggest oversights, I think, in the pricing this year.
I mean, that
he should.
Let me see. 27. That'll be a lot higher before the start of the season. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be in every content creator's team. He's going to be all over Twitter, and it won't take long before the masses work out that Botman is the 4.5 of choice. I don't think so. That will go up.
I haven't got him. I'm not fussed for him, but he is a good option at 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to look elsewhere. Maybe there'll be a 4.5 that comes up that's more attacking that we would like, and maybe Newcastle's defence will get rotation with Champions League. We don't know for sure, but I do think it's a wrong price. Midfield, Almond's probably too expensive there, I would say.
And he's never going to repeat what he did at the start of last season,
6.5.
Surely.
These are odd. Like, would you have Joe Linton over Morgan Gibbs-White? No chance. He's not even an attacking player.
But they're a much better team than Forest. So I mean,
don't forget but
Almiron emerged from the shadows at Newcastle.
He got 11 goal involvements in playing in a team that came top 4 against Gibbs White. He got 17 playing in a team came 5th and bottom. Doesn't make any sense. BC, he needs to be 5.5. This is a bit inconsistent. I think those two should have been 5.5. Bruno 6 is fair enough. Yeah. Almiron should have been 6 as well, I think.
Yeah, you're right, but again, it's only 0.5, isn't it? I mean, even if Joe Linton is 5.5, you're still not picking him for your
No,
team.
I know.
Let's be honest.
It's just I don't know what happened. I don't know what conversations was had. Isak and Wilson are good. Fair enough. I don't see any problem there.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think that's a wait and see, isn't it, to see what happens. Is he going to start with both? Is it going to be Isak leading the line and Wilson coming off the bench? If there's an injury to one of them, then the other one becomes an amazing option for us.
New signing.
Is Tonali in as a
5/5
as a
midfielder?
As a mid, yeah. Okay.
No one's going to go there, I don't think.
Be interesting to see what that does to Gamiresh, because when they signed him, when they signed him, I thought, does that push Gamiresh up forward a bit? But some people are saying it won't. If it does, then he might become an option for us.
No, I like him. Yeah, I like him. At 6 million, I think that's a good price as well. I think they got him right. I think it's just Almiron I was surprised at.
Oh, strap yourself in, everyone. It's Forest.
Not much in the goal. Well, we'll have a goalkeeper in here, and I think then we might be worth thinking about there.
Has Navas gone back as well then?
Yeah, he was on loan. In defence, look, we're all 4-5. Look, Steve Cook is the same price as Botman. I mean, God's sake, come on. You can't tell me Botman's not a mistake.
I never said he was. I always said he was a mistake. I completely agree. I was just kind of trying to justify it a little bit, but it is. I mean, it's
an oversight.
It is an oversight. Yeah, it is an oversight. Yeah.
None of our defence is going to attract attention. Felipe will be by far the best option here if you are going to look at. I would look at the goalkeeper. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Gibbs White 6 million for me is 0.5 cheaper than he should be. I think he should be 6.5. So I think he's going to be a bargain. So much so that I wouldn't look at Johnson, because I think Gibbs White's probably got more goal involvements in him. Johnson's going to have more goals, but I think Gibbs White will keep the pens, although he missed one tonight for the under-21s, Gibbs White. Scored, but missed a penalty.
Really?
Yeah, they made the final 3-0, by the way. So it's good, isn't it? Johnson could leave. I mean, Forest are saying we don't want to sell him, but if we got a big offer, and Brentford apparently are confident in getting him, but they'd have to pay 50 million, I think. So we'll see. If he does leave and he plays a more central attacking role, he could be amazing at 6 million.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly with Tony out as well for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I think I'd be very tempted by that.
Yeah. No 4-5s of note here. Scarpa could be good if he gets in the side, but there's doubts about his future. If he does break in, 4-5 would be good.
You were so excited about him.
He's a good player. I just don't think he's settled. He's some way off settling in the Premier League. Technical skills are amazing. Set piece is credible. So if he does get in, then I just don't know where he would fit in the team, because Gibbs White plays that role, and I don't think we can have two players of that ilk. We're not. Maybe in a couple of seasons' time, we might have earned the right to have two players of that type, but not at the moment. Nothing else there. Aronee's the one here up front. We're not going to look anywhere else. But I think he could be all right at 6.5. I think he's a factor. Shame he doesn't have pens. If he did, he'd be really good. But I think he will get double figures again for us, and maybe more. We'll have to see what he does. Nothing here of note. No.
Still got a big bloody squad.
Yeah, we got to ship people out, haven't we? Sheffield United, 4-5 goalkeeper in Tottenham. We may look at their defence.
Well, the one interesting one I noticed here was Bulldog at 4.
Yeah,
because
fullback.
I'm only basing that on when he was in the league beforehand.
Don't know what his appearances were last year.
No,
I don't think he is in favour now.
But I saw that at 4 and thought maybe he's an option. But obviously, if the taxes have changed and he's not playing, then he's not. But
yeah, someone mentioned Richards there for Forest. If he got back in the side at left back, is he down as a 4 million defender? He's on the next page. Let's have a look. Is he 4 million? No, he's 4.5. Of course he is. Of course he's 4.5. You know, why wouldn't you? He's a Champions League. Oh no, he's not. No, that's Botman again, isn't it? No, of course he's 4.5. Didn't play a single game for us last season, and he's 4.5. What's that? Why isn't he 4 million?
It's a bit odd. Yeah. I think they just got bored when it got down to the dregs of Forest, and I'll just make it all 4.5.
Yeah, I kind of get it if that wasn't, you shouldn't say, oh, we're just going to get 30-40% of the players we're going to pay attention to, and the others will just stick in. I don't know. I don't think they did that. They didn't do that, but they've just, as I said, I think it's just down to the compression of the defender prices, and it's caused this kind of anomaly. Sheffield United, we talked about the centre-backs, didn't we? And I know of this player, I'm not going to pronounce him, but he could be a set-piece threat. He's first choice for sure, and he's really a rising star. I think he could be very good for them. Yeah. But it really depends what we get from Sheffield United defensively. We hope that they'll be the kind of team they were when they came out before. Defensively resolute, good on set plays. I don't think they'll offer too much in attacking terms, but if they do, it'll be Ndai at 5-5. But I can't see. I think it'll be Morris over Ndai if you're looking at a promoted forward, as we've said before. Any 4-5s in midfield?
Rhian Brewster, God,
yeah, he's still there.
Him?
Still there.
Bloody fortune. You know how many goals he's got for Sheffield United in his career since they signed him?
6.
4.
That was close. Spurs, they've got 5 keepers.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lloris will be number 1, I think. Again, he's the captain. And then in defence, we're going to look at their defence. The top price there is 5 million, which is your friend Pedro Porro.
Yeah, Porro's all right at 5.
I don't mind that price. Yeah, that's good.
What about Destiny Aduki? If he's at wing back,
yeah, possibly at 4-5. But yeah, I mean where's Sassy on 4-5? If he goes to Forest, he could be good. If we get him, he could be out. He could be going elsewhere. Perisic at 5, possibly. But Porro's the option, isn't he?
Yeah, but I like Porro at 5. That's a good price. Make him a bit more.
This is the one, isn't it? Madison 7-5. Talk to me.
I love it. Just love it. I think it's a really tempting price for him. I was hoping they'd make him at 7-5.
That's good, I think. Yeah.
Lots of people saying, "Oh no, he's going to be 8, maybe even 8-5." But
yeah,
I think it's a good price. If he's feeding Kane, he's going to rack up the assists, I would imagine, because Kane's been crying out for a creative player in the side like Maddison is. So I think it's a really exciting one, and I'm torn between him and Foden because I think both of them are really good value picks. I
think that a lot of the key players they got right, and I think Maddison is one of them. So I think
Son
they've
as well. At 9.
I like Son at 9 as well. De Bruyne is the one who's disappointing there. If he'd have been 9-5, it would have made it. But I really like the Maddison price. I think you're right. Kulusevski's not going to get too much attention, I don't think, with Maddison there. Richarlison midfielder.
If Kane leaves and Richarlison is playing up top, I know he was absolute garbage last season, but with hopefully a better Son and a Maddison there,
could be something there,
and a manager who has a bit of faith in him, because I don't think Conte ever really liked him, so could do all right.
Yeah,
and Ndombele.
Yeah, he's still there. Not going to play. I think won't get a look in. West Ham keepers are 4-5. Fabianski.
Areola could be first choice, though, couldn't he?
Could be. That could be interesting. I would have thought Fabianski would hold it. Areola will play the European games again because they're in the Europa League, of course, now. Creswell at 4-5 could be value if he starts, but he was in and out of the side with Emerson getting some look-ins. I don't see anything in their defence really. Bowen at 7. What do you think? That's good. That's a good price. I like it. Got that one right, I think.
I mean, he had his 200-point season a couple of seasons ago. He still got nearly 150 points last season, because he had the quite inflated price tag. I think 7's a good price. I didn't think they could have gone much lower. Obviously, not higher. I think he's, a lot of these 7 to 9 million, I think, could play a big part for us this year. And it's been interesting to see what happens with West Ham. They've got Europa League again, so that's kind of harmed them, you feel, a bit over the last few seasons in terms of their options. But he's one that I'll keep my eye on, because we know that he's got in his locker to get 20, 25 returns.
Yeah. No, I like it. I really like Bowen to be a factor this season, because it was disappointing he didn't show up last time out. And 7 million's a good price. I think you're right. And then Wolves, I think, will struggle. I do think they will struggle. Josie Sarr at 5 million is going to struggle, I think, to justify that. Defenders, if they do lose Kilman, they're in a lot of trouble, because Collins has gone, and I felt he was really strong. Dawson's a rot back there, but is he going to have any support? They've got to get players in, and then, as it settle them down, I think they'll be thereabouts the relegation battle again.
I think they're in big trouble this year. I mean, they've got Lopetegui, haven't they, who's a great manager, but they've managed to keep hold of him despite him saying there's a bit of a cloud around signings and things like that. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to strengthen the team. I don't think they're going to go out and spend a lot of money. They've lost their captain and their best player, Neves. They've lost Kilman. They're going to lose Kilman, sorry. They're going to lose Collins as well.
Well, they've lost Collins. Kilman would be a big bet. But if I don't think they have to sell Kilman. I just think if they get a big offer, it'll be difficult to turn it down, maybe. But
I think there must be some financial problems.
Yeah, there are.
On there because and then they're relying on Fabio Silva, who just hasn't done anything since he's been there. Jimenez just hasn't been the same player. Hwang Hee-chan hasn't really done the business. I look at that squad and just think that's a championship squad.
Neto's there again, and they've got some talent in midfield, and these prices are very kind if any of these do emerge. But Sarabia at 5 million looked for a while to be someone who would tempt us, but I just don't see goals here. This is the problem. I don't see any goals.
They're going down, I think. My prediction.
Well, that's it. There we've done the teams. Let's have a look at teams selected by across the whole player list at the moment. Okay, Ramsdale's the top keeper. I'm very surprised at that.
Edison second. People do not learn, do they?
Well, that'll even out. I think people will come. I mean, they've just looked at points there, haven't they? That's why. I don't see that staying the same or Pope being there. I think the 4-5s all edged their way up. If we have a look further down, Ariola's the 4 million of choice. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, at the moment. Yeah, so Leno and Pickford are very popular, which is what I've been seeing in the community at the moment. Good rotation, I think, with them is behind that. Defenders, Estupiñán, I'm really shocked at that. It's because of the good start, maybe?
I'm not surprised at that at all. I think he's got every chance of going in as the top owned defender this season.
I think Trent will catch him, but yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I think I just think people are gonna remember what he did last season when he got that huge haul. The fixtures are good, and yeah, 5 million is a decent price for him. So I think he's going to be really popular. I'm surprised he Trippier
so high. 4-5. Well, no surprise really to see him that high. Won't say any more on that. Yeah, I'm surprised to see Trippier there. I guess that's just points, right? People, the masses going in and picking players.
Zinchenko not as high as you might have thought at this stage. 13%.
No, Ben White is a surprise at 14-4. Surely
that's got to be auto select, right?
Got to be. I'd have thought. I mean, he's definitely going to drop. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm kind of. I think Ake should be climbing. Pedro should be climbing. Pedro Porro should be climbing. Surprised to see Van Dijk there, because you'd think, why would you go a Liverpool defender other than Trent? But I guess if you're not going Trent and you really want to cover the Liverpool defence, you would go Virgil. But don't see it. We'll see. Midfield.
Cancelo at 15%. Yeah. I think that says a lot, doesn't it?
Saka, no surprise, I don't think here. I mean, I guess the surprise here that Salah's not nearer the top.
And that 60% have gone without Saka, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think those. This is kind of what I expected. These names, no surprise here. I'm surprised to see Martinelli that high. I thought and Havertz that high. Szoboszlai has done well. McAllister's just what you said. Your boss has picked him.
Yep.
Luis Diaz, yeah, okay. And there's
I just do think there are some fantastic options around here. When you come
I
down
love
to around
this,
the 10%
right?
mark,
I love
it's
this.
Nice.
There's a nice.
Everyone on this list is a potential pick.
No question, midfield's the exciting area, isn't it? No question. It normally is, but I think this season, because the prices, I think I would go so far as well done in midfield. With a few exceptions, but I think they have got the midfield nicely priced. I think they've made a few mistakes in that Saka should have been more for sure. I think Rashford could have been pushed up a bit, but in general, I think it's set it up nicely. And if we see Son and Foden come good, and they've definitely got it in them, then this could be really shaking up, couldn't it? So
I mean, you go right the way down this list. I mean,
Bowen,
Sterling,
yeah,
Kulusevski, Richarlison.
Yeah,
Anthony's cheaper at 7 as well.
Sancho could break out.
Sancho at 7 as well. Yeah, low. Pereira 5-5. I mean, there's so many options in midfield.
I mean, it's 5 midfield, isn't it? We're going to play 5 midfield.
I'm free for strikers at the moment.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at forwards. Haaland, I'm not even going to bother going there. Jesus, popular, yeah. Okay. Okay. These are the 3 I would have expected. These 2 for sure. I wasn't expecting Jesus to be there. Kane, I think people are presuming that he's not going to be there. Ferguson's picked up the traffic.
Ferguson's higher than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like a 0.5% differential, but it shows there's a lot of clued up people out there.
Hit the mute there. Yeah, I think. Oh look, Savage is the 4-5 of choice again. Interesting. Yeah, Gakpo I thought would be higher. That's I guess they're presuming Darwin's going to get more starts than me. What's my Dean McKinney saying? What's my official rating for the prices? I was a 9 when I saw the Haaland price and the Trent price. I went down to about 6.5. I'm probably about 7 now. I think they're okay. I think they're better than last year. I think there's been a missed opportunity, though. I think that they've compressed the defenders too much, and then that's made the defensive template too easy. You know, Stupinan, Shaw, Zinchenko should be higher. And I think because of that, we're going to see them in a load of teams. And, you know, this would, you know, they're in the 30s and 40% already. And Botman's wrong, just wrong, as we've said. So I think defence is where the problem is. I think maybe that's just been lack of attention, and they've focused mainly on the big names and the midfielders. It looks that way, doesn't it? Like they've got a lot of the midfield right, and they've got the heavy hitters right, I think, in Salah, Kane and Haaland and Trent. So I guess they got it right where it matters, but it does matter that the defence is too cheap and the template's too easy to get to. I think.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job. There's improvements that they could have made, but 7.5, I'll give it. A little bit more than you.
All right.
I am optimistic because, like I said, you cannot. It is hard to build a team with Haaland, Salah, and Trent, and it's impossible to build a team with Haaland, Salah, Trent, and Kane, and that was the main thing for me.
Yeah. So I've let's bring up my team, shall I? The one I picked. So this is what I went with. In 5 minutes. The defence, I think, that defence, including the keeper rotation, is going to be very popular, as we saw in the ownership already. Zinchenko, Stupinan, Trent, Shaw, Pickford and Leno rotation, Botman on the bench. And then I've gone a 5-man midfield with Saka, Rashford, Matoma and Bomo, and then Gibbs White, only because I'm a Forest fan. I'd like Gibbs White for the good fixtures, and I think he's good value at 6 million if he's on pens. Gakpo and Haaland, and then Archer, the 4-5. I think this will be a familiar kind of structure with five midfielders, 2 to 3 6.5s, 2 9 millions, 2 8.5s, and then Haaland, Trent, and the template defence, with Archer being the only player really who's a 4-5 forward being quite popular, I would say. What do you think?
Well, firstly, I'm very upset that you didn't change the arrow colour to gold. That is an oversight.
I will sort that out. Yeah, absolute disgrace. Fair enough. Yet again.
In terms of the team, yeah, it looks very strong. I guess my only consideration at this point is, like I've been banging on about, the 7.5 to kind of 8.5 bracket is really strong, and you don't have an easy way of moving a Matoma and Bomo or a Gibbs White up to one of those. And you're not going to want to lose Rashford or Saka. Yeah,
so, I guess Maddison's the concern, right? If he really does fly.
Maddison, Foden, one of the City mids. If you did want an Odegaard or a Martinelli or someone like that, you're going to really struggle to do that. So that's my only criticism. But you would expect this team to start strong.
I guess the option there is I don't go Gakpo and I go a 6.5 or even a promoted striker, and I put more in midfield. So, I mean, this is not going to be my team, but I think there's probably 7 or 8 names here that are going to get close.
I think
already.
If you told me at the start of the season or before the prices that this would be the kind of team you'd end up with and having no Salah, you're 4 at the back, which is debatable whether that's a great option. I know you've got Gibbs White as well, but you kind of be rotating those. You've got 3 6.5 million mids, a Gakpo who's could be in and out of the team, and no best performing FPL player over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. So you are having to make. I don't know. You've kind of got rid of Salah, but I'm not entirely sure if this is.
Well, we'll try and build a Salah team in a minute. You gave me a team which you probably didn't spend too much longer on. Do you want to read it?
Mine isn't much better. Don't get me wrong. It's fairly similar. I mean, I've got Leno, Trent, Zinchenko, and Estepinian. Like I said, I think that Estepinian spot could be anyone. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to start with him. It could be a James, could be a Chilwell, could go up to Shaw, could even go for Moreno or Porro. There's loads of options around there. Rashford, Saka, Foden could just to give me that kind of 8 million-ish spot, and then Matoma, and then Haaland, Jesus, and then I've got Ferguson. I mean, I could move Ferguson over to another 6.5 mid. I could do Jesus to Gakpo, but I like that first fixture for Arsenal.
I'm really surprised you've gone for him.
It's just to get me another Arsenal attacker, really. I mean, I could do Pereira to Odegaard or something, or Pereira to Martinelli and go for that, but I quite like the thing with 3 up top. We say it every year and everyone gets sick of everyone doing it, but you've got to burn that forward spot, haven't you? If you go for 5 in midfield, you're looking at getting a 4-5 striker and not having that that option. I mean, look at my bench. I mean, I've got Mings who might be playing, so that could be Botman. But Bayer, he's going to be the 5.
You can do better than Andreas though at 5-5. I think.
Can you?
I think so.
On penalties playing for Liverpool?
You think he's on? If he's on penalties, fair enough. But you know,
he had a good season last year. But yeah, I think he's probably worth 5-5.
Yeah, I think. What would I do here? Yeah, I mean, you've gone for Foden, which is where your 7-5 has gone. You're going to get Maddison instead of Foden, I would have thought. I know you. I mean, there's not a lot wrong with it, other than I don't know if I would go at Jesus at 8. I think I'll probably go down from Jesus, but I guess you want the free Arsenal for the Forest game. I think Jesus is so frustrating. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's the danger, I think, for me, that he'll do what...
this team is just trying to target really that first kind of fixture, which is the 3 Brighton and then the 3 Arsenal, and then Foden in there because they've got quite a few promoted teams in the first couple of games, and Haaland. That's the kind of thinking behind it. It's quite kind of fixture led. And this won't be my team when the season rolls out. But I don't think I'll be captaining Haaland though. Game 1.
You're not going to.
I think it's going to be.
Give it a few weeks. It's
going to be awful at first watching it, but I think the home game with Rashford and Saka looks really good.
You're going to captain Saka against Forest. I mean, yeah, I get it. I think they will get 2 or 3 goals. So fair enough. I just can't do it. I can't. I've got to learn that I'm going to have Arsenal players against Forest, but I don't know if I want to captain someone against them. Because you're literally then cheering for your team to concede.
I know.
It's really difficult, that is. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the worries with City are, they just won the treble. It is hard to kind of go again, isn't it?
And Burnley, I just don't know. I mean, you'd expect them...
Yeah, Burnley are going to be up for it. And
of course.
Kompany knows City well, and Haaland typically hasn't scored huge hauls away from home. I don't think that's going to be the easiest match.
I want to just bring up something. I found my team from 2016 that I had on Game Week 1. And I want to just put this in here because I want to just show you the difference between the kind of teams that we pick now and the kind of teams... What have you
done to that graphic?
It's all right, hold on. I'm resizing it. Because I've done this live from my phone, basically. I've just done it now.
Victor Valdez.
Yeah, so this is obviously 7 years ago. Right, and just to show how much the game has changed, look at that team, basically. So I had 2 heavy hitters in that team, Hazard and Aguero. Other than that, I mean, obviously I got on Mahrez and Vardy, which was successful for me.
Vardy would have been... Vardy, and that was the league. That was the year after they won the league, wasn't it? So they probably would have been fairly high.
I think so, yeah. So,
they lost that game.
But look at the teams in this team, like Palace, Southampton...
Can you read the team out for
it's Valdez in goal, Scott Dan, Van Dijk at Southampton, Michael Keane at Burnley, Nathan Redmond, Mahrez, Leicester, Andros Townsend, Palace, Chelsea, Hazard, City, Aguero, Leicester, Vardy, and then Andre Gray, who was at Burnley at the time. So
look at your bench as well.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, I think what rank did I get in this season? I don't think it was like.
No.
I think that was a good team.
That was a good year for you, yeah.
So 16, 17, 115th in the world. There you go. That was a show that I was on. That was when I was first on the show. So I came 115th in the world, and I started with that team.
Yeah.
But it just shows you, though, how now we pick a team full of top 6 players, whereas 7 years ago, you had to have 4 or 5 players from the mid, or even some of the lower teams. So it's just transformed completely, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things was defence, though, wasn't it? I mean, back in those days, you'd never put any money into defence. I mean, you had like one Baines or, maybe a John Terry when he was there or an Ivanovic, but that was literally one, and then you filled the rest of your team with like 4.5. So whereas now, I mean, look at your defence. You've got a 5 million, a 6 million, and an 8. So
that's true.
You are using a lot of money in those positions. But
then the wing backs have come through, haven't they, since then?
Yeah, but then like you say, you wouldn't then expect to be able to have a load of top 6 players in the rest of your spots. Yeah. So that is where that's where the game's changed because if they made it too, I guess if they made it too much the other way, then you'd just have a really expensive defence.
I think we know now though that the policy is that they want you to have top 6 players. They want you to have the big players, and they're going to price it in a way where that is possible. And I think they presume, and I don't know whether this is right, that by doing that, they're going to get more players in the game because it's going to attract a bigger audience. Whereas if they made it difficult where you'd have to have, the equivalent of Nathan Redmond and Michael Keane and Andre Gray, it wouldn't attract people into the game.
I mean, it's making me sick looking at it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I do look back at that and think I get all misty-eyed because the thing is that then you've got heroes like Redmond and Gray who you think, well, I don't expect, you know what I mean?
No one has ever said.
No, it's true. It's true. Like, I think when you go into a game week 1, you've got 3 or 4 players from the middle or lower team in the league. You're kind of like, it's harder to get that right, isn't it? Let's face it. It's harder to find those gems in those teams. Whereas now, when you're able to pick an 11 largely from top 6 teams, I think it used to be Lego, it's now Duplo, is what I'm saying.
I mean, a few years ago, I mean, you would never have seen Mbomo being owned by 25% of the game, though, would you? Like the knowledge that he is playing up front and he's a good pick, and Tony's out. We talk about the mainstream content. I mean, that is massively feeding into that, and maybe Mbomo would have been like a Redmond a few years ago because it would have been just you having him, not anyone else. But
maybe
now everyone knows.
Yeah,
Redmond. Wow.
I know. I liked him as a player. So did Pep. I just think it's really interesting the way it's shifted in that way. And I understand it. I get it. I don't know if I agree that it's necessarily going to be the thing that brings more players into the game, but I think they obviously presume that it will. Like, that's the thing. They want people to have players they know, players they see on TV. What interests me is like the Premier League are very keen to share the love, right? Very keen that Burnley get coverage, Burnley get attention. That Southampton and the likes, or not this season, but the mid and the lower teams get as much attention as the top 6. And yet, when it comes to FPL, that clearly isn't the case anymore. The top 6 monopolise our teams, and that's going to happen now. So it's an interesting thing that they've not tried to set it up so that you do look at other teams other than the top 6 for players. But that clearly, when you look at last season and now this, that's clearly the policy.
But I guess the devil's advocate argument to that is you want people to come in and pick the players they know, and then when players emerge from the promoted teams, like we had, I know Rodrigo wasn't a promoted player last season, but he came in, didn't he, and started doing really well. And then Solanke came in, and you do get you learn after 4 or 5, 6 weeks who the good promoted players are, and then you bring those into your team.
So I guess
look at Lundstrom. That was only a few years ago, as well. So.
Was it? I think it was about 6-7 years ago. we're getting old.
It all just blurs into one.
Yeah, I know. We've done this so often. I think you're right. I think that's probably spot on. Is they think when you're new to the game, you don't want to presume that they know who the best Burnley player is, who the best Luton player is.
Well, they won't. They won't. So, and then people get frustrated because they end up picking a Luton goalkeeper who doesn't even start, and then they that kind of thing. So I do kind of get the logic. I think last year it was just problematic because you had 10. You could build a good team of 10 players from top 6 sides, and I don't think you can do that now. And I look at Brighton, for example, and I think they're going to be really popular. But would I be surprised if Estepinian, Ferguson, and Matoma all just did really badly at the start of the season and the points were shared? And not really, because we've been a frustrating team. It's not like you're backing an Arsenal or a Liverpool or someone. You're backing a mid-table side, essentially, obviously with aspirations of pushing forward, but there's a lot less trust I have in teams like that.
I didn't look at the rules. Is there any rule changes? I didn't pay any attention whatsoever to that.
Well, Let's Talk hasn't said anything, so I'm going to guess not. He's normally on the ball.
So there's
much more on the ball than us.
The 4 chips are there, same as last season. A few more. I'm just looking at the store. No, I don't think there is anything new. I really don't think there is anything new. I haven't gone into
this new game mode, weren't we, as well? But that hasn't.
Not yet. I don't think there's any changes to the BPS. I haven't been into the so I don't think there are any changes. Otherwise, we'd know about it, right? They'd be talking about it today. So it is what we know and love. So bit of a shame. It would have been nice to shake it up. Okay.
First half of the chips. One day.
I know. First half chips would have been nice. It would have been nice. But again, I don't think they want to risk too many changes to it. And you understand it. 12 million players this last year. They're going to go for 14 this year, I expect. And I guess like the only people who are a little bit cynical about it are people like us, and we're never not going to play, are we? So they're never going to lose us. So
no, we just love it too much, don't we?
that's the thing. Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm not Jack Flush Poet. How can you say that? Not these days. Not these days. Those days are gone. Yeah.
The sleeping around was one of my favourite lines from the season review.
Right, we better go. I mean, we're going to be back with a lot more pre-season stuff where we're going to look at detail at stats. We'll look at rotation. We'll look at the fixtures a bit more, and we'll pop in on our teams at that point. I'm thinking, because of the way the pricing has gone, and because I know that I'll be influenced by ownership, which I don't want to be, and I'll be influenced by what's the template on Twitter. I'm thinking of deleting Twitter until the deadline.
I've gone, Mark.
You've done it already?
I posted earlier. I'm out. I'm out of Twitter. I'll be on to post your BlackBox update and Scout promo and stuff, but
yeah.
I'm not hanging around Twitter, I'm afraid. I feel exactly the same. I'll get too influenced by bandwagons and I want to make my own mind up, and it's cost me over the last few seasons.
I think you're right.
Swayed.
That's my thinking, because I was swayed a couple of seasons ago when I got Werner because what was being said on Twitter. And I was swayed last season to go against EO because I was really frustrated that everyone had the same team. So I'm worried that if I pay too much attention to Twitter again and I see all these teams in my timeline, I'm going to be influenced one way or another, going against it or with it. So I'm going to do the same as you. So it's an interesting experiment. You know, if you're watching and you're on Twitter, but yeah, rubber ducky says will not exist. Very good call. I love you. Yeah, it's crazy. It might not, but it will, and it will influence us. So I think I'll do the same. I'm not sure I'm gonna delete it because I'll need it for DMs, but I'm not gonna look at it.
No, I've logged out, and when I need it, I'm gonna log back in and post stuff.
Good idea.
Delia, will I still post on TikTok? Yes, follow me on TikTok. I'm doing short videos on my TikTok account. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. It's very fun.
And Delia's going to launch her channel and be a millionaire by mid-season. So.
Yeah.
Baking FPL is going to go crazy.
Baking FPL, yeah.
And as for effective ownership in the game, I might try and avoid looking at that as well. Where do you stand on that? Because do you think you're influenced by it? Do you think that if you're not careful, you'll look at EO and you'll make a decision based on that rather than what you feel is the best
but like
pick?
I've said before, I'm influenced in the wrong way because I look at it.
Go against it?
Yeah. I'd rather just not know. I'm going to try really hard not to look, and I get more influenced by kind of Twitter EO than I do, the EO on the site. I don't want to be looking through threads and seeing like 100 people best opinion in and think I need to pick him or not pick him because of that.
I need to go dunk. Yeah,
exactly. I want to get to Gameweek 1, decide if I want him or not.
Yeah,
and then if I've got him and everyone else has got him, then so be it.
And we're going to be at Fest showing our teams for the first time on that Friday night, and it'll be quite nice to go. We're both been immune to the Twitter bubble. We haven't been part of that, and we haven't been influenced by it.
I think it will let us make better content as well. One of our first videos I'm going to do after this, I'm going to try and get Nat on, my old apprentice, to chat through her first draft and see how she's gearing up for the new season and how she felt after the end of last year, because she was quite disappointed not to kick on from her first season. So yeah, I'll get her on and chat to her a bit. So
I'd love to know what her influences are now, how much she relies on Twitter.
I know, exactly. I think she relies on it. I think she massively relies on it. I think she started off not doing it. She then got influenced by it. Because remember in that first season, remember her saying, I did this because so-and-so told me to, and things like that. And I wonder if she's gone the other way now. Now she's, massively influenced by it. So, because she's very active on Twitter and talking about her team. So yeah, I'll get her on and chat to her about that.
Absolutely. And we're gonna do some tier list stuff as well, because I quite fancy doing that. I like that in other spheres, so I'm going to bring that to BlackBox.
We need to make sure we don't rip off FPL mates completely, but I like.
Well, as I said to you,
I told you not to call it a tier list.
I go back to the articles that I wrote on Fantasy Football Scout where I introduced tiers for the first time. I've got evidence that. So
we'll counter sue him when he
exactly. When it comes to tiers and FPL. There was an article I wrote, 12 years ago that I can show that shows that we did the first.
There are a lot of tiers when it comes to FPL. You're not wrong.
There could be more to come if I don't pick Haaland. I'm going to pick Haaland. Of course I am. All right. That's about it this week. We'll be back, I'm sure, next week with something, if not before. We've done 2 this week, which is good. It's been good to be back. It's been good to have the game back. I'm a little bit frustrated, but I'll get over that. I'm not going to moan. We're going to get on
7 out of 10. I reckon we'll be celebrating over at FPL Towers.
It's fine.
With you scoring in that.
Yeah. All right. We haven't done the end credits. They're still the old ones. You can tell me off for that as well. But we'll get them corrected for the next show. Okay. Well, it's good night for me.
Good night, everyone. Do make sure you subscribe and like this stream and look out for more content coming very shortly.